Welcome, dear students. I am Professor Shraddha Firke from the Computer Science Department of KK Wagh Arts, Commerce Science and Computer Science College, Kakasaheb Nagar, Ranwad, Nasik. Today we are going to study the topic from the software engineering, that is software design and concepts and its principles. Let's see the overview of the design concept. So what is a design? What is it? It is a meaningful engineering representation of something that is to be built. What does it? Who does it? So, the software engineers with the variety of the skills ranging from the human ergonomics to the computer architecture. Why it is important? A house would never be built without a blueprint. So, why should software? So without the design, software will fail with the small changes. So it is difficult to test and it cannot be assessed for the quality. So that is why the designing is very much important. What is the work product? A design specifications that will be the final work product of the software design concept or the software designing phase. So let's see the designing of quality software. So what does it require? Design is the stage where the quality is instilled. So the design is assessed by the formal reviews or the walkthrough. The characteristics of good design are: first one is it must implement the explicit requirements and the accommodate implicit requirements. Again, it must be readable and understandable guide for the coding and testing. So the design will actually help in understanding and reading in the phase of coding and testing. So third one, it should provide the complete picture of your software from an implementation perspective. So the good quality software design will consist of the complete design structure that will be implemented after the whole software development process. So what is a generic design process? So the design process will involve diversification. That is, it is an acquisition of an alternatives, and this will followed by the convergence. That is the elimination of all but one particular configuration. And all the design methods will have the following characteristics. First one is the mechanism for the translation of analysis model into a design representation. So it is basically a translation process from the analysis of your model to the design representation. And second characteristics is a notation for representing the functional components and their interfaces. Then the heuristics for the refinement and partitioning. And the last characteristics is the guideline for quality assessment. So where do we begin? We begin the design phase after the modeling your specifications and after your prototype is been designed. So after these two things, we will start our design phase. So what are the different design principles? The design process and the specifications should first of all avoid the tunnel vision, then be the trackable back to the analysis. There should be no reinvent to the wheel. Then minimize your intellectual distance, that is between the problem and your solution. Then exhibit the uniformly and integration, that is look like a work of a single designer. Then accommodate the changes. Then the degrade gently and be assessed for the quality as it is being created, not after the fact. So not a missed forest. that is not focus too much on the miniatures or the minutes. Then recognize that the design is not a coding, but coding is not a design. So there should be the difference between coding and the design. Now let's see what is an abstraction and refinement. So what is an abstraction? This will permit one to concentrate on a particular problem at some level of your generalization without regard to irrelevant low level details. So when the software engineering is the process of refining your abstraction. In the modern programming languages, it will allow for the abstraction, that is an abstract data type. For example, types are the data, the procedural, and the controls. These are the abstract constants or the abstract different abstractions. Then the stepwise refinement, the gradual top-down elaboration of the details will be refinement. Abstraction and refinement are the complementary. The abstraction will suppress the low level details while the refinement gradually reveals it. The next is what is a data abstraction? So data abstraction is it is a named collection of the data that will describe the data objects. So this is how your abstraction will look like. It is an implemented as a data structure, and for the door data structure there exists a different types of collection of a named data that will describe your data object, that will describe your door. Then comes a procedural abstraction. So what is a procedural abstraction? A named sequence of an instructions with specific or limited functions. For example, door is an activity or door is an entity, and opening is the procedure for the door. So the detail of enter algorithm. So this will be implemented with the knowledge of the objects that is associated with to enter. Next concept is modularity. So beware with the monoliths. The software should be split into a separately named and addressable components. The modularity is what? It is basically a lexical continuous sequence of the program statements that is bundled by the boundary elements, and it will have an aggregate identifier. So the procedures, function, and the objects are the different modules. So what are the benefits of this modularity? So it is easier to build, it is easier to change, it is easier to fix. The modularity is the single attribute of your software that allows the program to be intellectually manageable. Then don't overdo it. Too many modules makes the integration complicated. So keep it as simple as possible. Sometimes the code must be monolithic, that is a real-time or an embedded system, but the design will shouldn't be. The effective modular design is achieved by the developing single-minded, that is high coercive modules with an aversion to excessive interaction, that is in a low coupling. So what is a modularity support? A design method that will support the effective modularity if it evidences the decomposability, that is the systematic mechanism for decomposing the problems. Then the composability, that means able to reuse the modules in your new system with the old system. So understandability, the module can be understood as a standalone unit. Then continuity, it will minimizes the change in induced side effects. What is the protection? So it will minimize the error induced by the side effects. So this is the types of cohesions. It will start from the low to the moderate. So it starts from worst to the best. So the coincidental cohesion, first the worst case is the coincidental cohesion. It will perform the multiple unrelated actions when it can happen if an organization enforces the rapid or the rigid rules on the module sizes, that is the size are being hacked apart and glued together, worse than no modularity at all. Then comes a fifth or the types of cohesion, that is a logical cohesion. So what is a logical cohesion? In this the module tasks are being related logically. For example, an object that will perform all the input and outputs, the interface can be different to understandable, and code for the several actions may be intertwined. And the fourth one is, that is temporal cohesion. The tasks executed within a same span of time. For example, initiation of the different data structures. So this is the same span of time. This is the task which will executed within a same span of time. This is a temporal cohesion. Now the third one is procedural cohesion. That is the actions that are related and must be executed in a certain order. So this is the moderate type of cohesion. Then the communication, so the actions that are performed in the series and on the same data type. For example, calculate the trajectory and print. So this will damages the reusability. And the high single minded cohesion, that is a functional or informational cohesion. It will perform exactly one action, or it will perform a number of actions with the separate entry point. All this will be performed on the same data structure. So it is equivalent to the well designed abstract data type or an objects. The next one is coupling. So what is a coupling? It is a degree of an interaction between the different modules. The measure for the relative independence, then the strive for low coupling, since this will reduce the ripple effect. So what are the different types of coupling? These are also from the worst to the best. So the fifth coupling that is not been recommended is the content coupling. One module directly references the intervals of another. For example, module P will branches to the local level of the module Q, and almost any change in one requires the change in other. So this is the content coupling. Next is common coupling. Both the modules have the access to the same global data area. For example, if the module P and Q have to read and write access to the same data element, then that element or that coupling is a common coupling. The third one is control coupling. So the element of the control is being transferred between the modules. So for example of the control coupling is, suppose the module Q is not only passes the information but also informs the module P as to to worst action to be taken. Next is stamp coupling. So what is a stamp coupling? In the whole data structure, that is the records, array and the object, this will be transferred, but it is called module only operates on the part of the data structures. So the security or the risk, that is allowed uncontrolled data access. Then the high coupling, that is highest coupling, is your data coupling. So every argument is either a simple type or the data structure, and all the elements are used by the called function or the called module. The maintenance is easier, and because of the regression fault less likely. So the next is information hiding. So how we can hide the information? So let's say this is the one module. We are with you with the algorithms, with the different data structures, with the details of external policies and reuse resources allocation policy. All this information contain the module, and there are different clients that are called currently continuously, but it will specify a design decision as a secret. So what are the benefits of information hiding? A more accurate term would be in the detailed or in the details hiding. It is supported by the public and the private specification in the C++. The benefits of the information hiding is it will leads to and coupling, low type of coupling. It will reduce the likelihood of the side effects. Again, it will limit the global impact of the local design decisions. It emphasizes the communication through the controlled interfaces. Decoupling, or it will be discourage the use of global data, and it will result in high quality software. So let's see one quick summary of the design concepts. So what is in the design concepts? There exists an abstraction. It will enable the problem to be addressed at the high level of the generalization without worrying about the low level details. Again, refinement, that is a process of gradual top-down elaboration details. Then abstraction and refinement are use cases. Then the modularity is what? It is a software subdivided into separately named and addressable components. The modularity is the software subdivided into separately named and addressed components. Then the coupling, the degree to which the module is connected to other modules in the system. Then the cohesion. Cohesion is what? The degree to which the module performs one and only one function. And the last one is information hiding. The portions of the internal structure of a component are hidden and inaccessible from the outside. Thank you so much for today's lecture.